Back at you with another one, another one, another one, another one, another one, another one. You know what I'm saying? Back at it, baby. You know what it is. It's official, like a referee with a whistle. You know what I'm saying? So like and share this episode. So yeah, what's your fantasy? I'm gonna lick you from your head to your toes. That's what Ludacris said in the song he came up with a long time ago. What's your fantasy? Yeah, I actually got a question about this over the past 5 days about what I do I get into fantasies and what I think about fantasies, and there was a probably 3 or 4 questions pertaining to fantasies. How real is a fantasy or experiencing a fantasy with somebody? How real is that relationship? How it's yeah, I got a couple of these questions over the past 5 days, you know. How real is a fantasy? You know, I'm gonna tell you my experience and what I think about a fantasy. And I'm gonna talk about why I think people have fantasies. You know, and a lot of times, oh, P.S. by the way, like and share this, and check out my Patreon. If you like this video, you're gonna like my Patreon. On my Patreon, I got classics. I got classics, yo, on my Patreon. Nobody doing it like me on my Patreon. Nobody. I challenge anybody on my Patreon. I got everybody. I got everybody on my Patreon. Some people you might know, some people you might not know on my Patreon. Classics. I need to put something together one day, like a kind of like a documentary with some of the people that I interviewed over the past 5, 10 years. I'm gonna interview them again on a specific topic. I'm gonna put something together. I'm gonna just do it. I'm gonna do a documentary just one time. You know, it's like a goal of mine that I have. But when it comes to most people when they have fantasies, they're just bored. That's what it really comes down to for the most part. A lot of people are been together for a long time. Maybe they've been married for a long time. And they just have too much damn time, occupied time, and they don't know what to do all that time. So when people get bored, they start, their minds start drifting and thinking about what they could be doing and with the free time that they have. And some people they start eating too much, get fat and sloppy, and their mind is running and running and running. And that's how a lot of these fantasies start. These thoughts of doing something that's probably they might have thought about doing a long time ago, but never had the balls to do it, or just never thought it could get done. So you have a lot of boring people. That's where a lot of these fantasies, that's where it really stems from. People that have way too much time on their hands. It's kind of like a couple. A couple that's been married for a long time, or been living together for a long time. All of a sudden, his wife like women now. All of a sudden, You know what I'm saying? It's like, what? You want to be with a woman? I mean, all of a sudden, it's like they've been together 5, 10, 20 years, and all of a sudden, it's like his wife, she likes women now. Like, how did this shit happen? Did she like women all the time, or she was just trying to hide it? I don't know. But this type of shit happens, and then all of a sudden, if she liked women, you know what the next step is. Now it's time to have a threesome. You're like, what? Like, and then you would think that the guy would be the star of the show. No, no, the women is usually the star of the show. The guy, for the most part, he just enjoys the fun by default. But it wasn't even his idea. You know what I'm saying? It becomes like the two women, they enjoying the shit more than the guy. And a lot of this shit starts with boredom. People just get bored and they start they want to experiment. And I never really got into fantasies too much because here's the thing. A lot of people kind of look at it ain't really about the person. It's about the act. It's about the experience. That's why I never really take, or you shouldn't take any type of fantasy or any type of threesome or anything really. You can't take these people serious. Almost nothing, no real relationship is going to come out of this shit that these people are asking you to engage in or allowing you to engage in with them. Now, almost nothing serious is going to come out of this shit. Sure, it might last for months, weeks, years. But you ain't gonna, the relationship ain't really built. Y'all don't really have no relationship. Y'all, you don't even, in most cases, let's say you meet a couple and they want to have a threesome or orgy or whatever they want to do. Let's say y'all get together and y'all make it happen some way, somehow, someplace, right? And let's say you meet these people, you find out that they're not really fun to be around at all. They kind of close off. They really don't want to get to know you, really. Now think about this for a second. Now, you got people want you to take their clothes off along with them, but they don't want to get to know you. So I'm like, well, what is? So it ain't really about. Now they'll say, "Hey, these are our boundaries." They won't say that to you directly, but indirectly, that's what they're saying. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to get personal. Well, you are getting personal. You're getting naked. You don't get no personal than that. Don't get much personal than that. But it's like, how do you have a good experience without getting personal? That's like a fucking oxymoron. You know what I'm saying? And then once you get to know these people and you go through with it, y'all do whatever fantasy they want, and the shit is whack. The shit wasn't no good. Maybe it was okay it wasn't no good. This shit whack. Like, this bitch whack. Oh God. So now the chances of you seeing them again is slim to none. Slim to none. Because the shit was awkward when y'all first met. Y'all don't really have a relationship at all. Y'all just get together and do whatever you want and see you next time. So it ain't really about, the whole thing is really about the act, the experience. It ain't really about you as the person. So that's why I say the fetish ain't real. A fetish ain't a real relationship. Now, you got people that's getting married to people. That's the whole relationship is built on a fetish. How does this happen? This shit happen all the time, bro. It ain't really that it really ain't that deep, really. A fetish could last for a long time. Years. You hear people say things, you hear women say shit from time to time. You got a lot of guys and gals. If you let them talk, they're just a walking stereotype. And the person that they're with, if you really look at some of these guys that a lot of these women are with, they're walking stereotypes. I give you an example. You got like let's take an average white woman. The average white woman at your job, your corporate job you work, for the most part, they like, what type of black dudes they like that they feel comfortable being around? The guy with the bald head, kind of buff, kind of got big arms, and he's soft spoken, you know, and the darker the better. That's pretty common. That's like the walking stereotype in corporate America. And that's what most white people, most white women are used to. If you go back to work tomorrow, look at all the black people on your job, black males on your job. Ain't that many. If you got a corporate job, ain't that many. Most of them look alike. Either they got a low haircut or bald. Maybe he a little short dude, kind of big, he in shape. 9 times out of 10, he laid up with white women at the job. I mean, he's just a walking stereotype, though. He's a safe dude. He's a safe dude. I mean, it is what it is. You might be saying, "Dang, I'm bullshitting," but this is the truest shit I ever spoke. I mean, if I look at every job that I've had, the guy, the brother that stays on the job the longest, he usually is a guy. He ain't got no high hair like me. He ain't got no afro. He got a low haircut, head bald. He usually short. He ain't gonna be tall. That's rare. I mean, he might work. You might see a tall guy, but he ain't gonna be there long. He gonna be gone. He ain't gonna be able to stay there no 10, 20 years. No, usually don't happen like that. Unless he's a butt licker. But he ain't like gonna be one of the he ain't gonna be in the in crowd. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna see no masculine guy on these jobs, these corporate jobs. They don't allow it. No, they don't allow it. Now, every once in a while, you might have one squeeze in, but even he ain't gonna make it that long. He's gonna have to move on and get another job. Because the more masculine you are, you feel good about yourself, comfortable in your own skin, that energy is going to radiate. People are going to pick up on that. And you ain't going to be able to stay there long because they're going to be trying to talk to you like a boy. And no, you ain't going to be able to do it. No, let me tell you something. Ain't no man that feels good about himself is going to let somebody at work talk shit to him like a dog and get disrespected. No, he ain't going to be able to do it. You're going to have to move on. Now, he might not quit immediately, but in his mind, he's looking for another job. He's planning his way out. Maybe he got to stay there and do what he got to do. And that makes sense. But he's planning his exit. Now, the beta dude, yeah, they'll work the hell out of that job. Kiss ass and do anything. The butt lickers, they'll do anything. But no guy that cares, love himself, is going to be able to tolerate all that shit. He ain't going to be able to do it. I'm telling you, he ain't going to be able to do it. It ain't happening. He ain't going to be able to do it. You know? Yeah, but that's usually how it go. Wait a minute. That's usually how it go, man. No dude that feels good about himself is going to be able to tolerate all that nonsense that these people come up with. I'm telling you. So most guys on these jobs are walking stereotypes. That's just a fact. You know what I'm saying? Most of these guys are walking stereotypes. If like most of the guys I know that work corporate jobs, they all look alike. It's the same type of dude. And those are the guys that, people feel comfortable with, on these jobs. Why the hell is this shit doing this? That's weird. But yeah, that's usually how it go, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why if someone look at you like you're not even a human being, you can't have a relationship with nobody like that. Not a real one. I mean, y'all can play around and act like something else going on or have fun, but you can't have a real relationship with nobody like that. It ain't gonna last. Even, check this out, even a relationship that's built on a fetish, that ain't gonna last. See, how you start makes a big difference. How you start makes a big difference. If the relationship ain't built on nothing, it ain't gonna last. I mean, if you might get with a girl and she's superficial, right? She like you because she likes everything about you. It's all about the physical. Everything is shallow. That shit ain't gonna last. It ain't gonna last. it ain't gonna last. Everything is superficial. It's like the relationship being built on nothing. It's not gonna last, man. And it doesn't matter who it is. Every relationship has to have a foundation, like a house, a building. It's like building blocks. Have to be built on something solid if it's going to last for a long time. A fetish could be for one night or 2 hours. Shit. And that could be it. That could be it. It's like, now, let me tell you how I learned this. I learned this shit when I went overseas. Yeah, when I went overseas, that's when I started learning about different people. And see, difference between me and most people, I understand how most people think. This is why every place I've been around the world, I study people. I study groups of people. So I know, in other words, I know the history of Japan, Korea, Australia, Hawaii, where else? Canada, China. I studied history. So that's why when I meet somebody, I always ask them where they're from. Because where they're from has a lot to do with how they were raised and how they think. So once I know where you're from, I have a good, broad idea probably how you think before I ain't meet you. Now, when I start talking to you, now that's when the real come out. That's when I know for sure who you are and how you think. You know what I'm saying? And then the second thing I'm trying to get to, once I know how you think, the next thing I'm trying to find out is, how does the people where you from look at me as a Black American? Boy, that's a big one. I'm going to say that one more time. Once I find out where you from and how you think, I'm trying to find out how the people where you from see me as a Black American. Once I put those things together, it's on. That's already 80% of the battle right there. Because if I figure out that you have a bad view of someone like me from America as a Black American man, if I figure out you have a bad perception of me, I'm like, well, okay. I'm talking about as a group. I'm talking as a group now. I'm not talking about it as an individual. I'm talking as a group. Once I find that out, I'm like, oh, okay. See, that's when I make my mind up. Either I'm going to keep talking to this person, I'm going to move the fuck on. You know what I'm saying? That's it. See that the programming overseas is 10 times stronger than versus being in North America. And anyone that's been overseas, you know what I'm talking about. And a lot of these people in these other countries, they're like fucking robots. They're like robots, bro. I mean, that programming is so goddamn strong. Shit. For real. You think the media is strong over here. Boy, you need to go to the like certain parts of Asia in them countries. Shit. Boy, they believe everything they see on TV. They believe in all the stereotypes. All of them. They don't even question anything. They don't question authority. They don't question anything. And they don't fight against anything evil. You can forget about it. Whatever the authorities say, that's it. Whatever the government, they love the government too. The government, the government. They love the government. But the government don't love them back. Don't make no sense. You know? A lot of weird shit is going on in these other places, man. For real. When I went overseas the first time, man, that was like a culture shock for me, man. You got to think about it like this. I'm coming from South Carolina. I grew up in a loving household, loving community. 97% black people. I grew up around black people all my life until I was about 19 when I went to college. All black, 97% black. I grew up in a black community, right? And when I went to college, I said, yo, it's different out here. God damn. I know it's different, but it wasn't so bad. I just I started hanging around the athletes, football players, and I was like, oh, boy, y'all operate different from how I do, from based on where I'm from at home. Because when I went to college, people from everywhere. I went to USC, people from everywhere, right? But boy, when I went to the Navy and I went to Japan, I'm like, God damn, these motherfuckers crazy over here, man. Let me tell you what I saw. All I saw was a bunch of people taking advantage of each other, stabbing each other in the back. But on the outside looking in, it don't look like that. It looks like everybody's like all together. That ain't the case. That ain't the case at all. Where I'm from, how people socialize, I ain't never seen nothing like that nowhere else. I hate to break it to you. This might be hard for some people to believe. Where I'm from, I've never seen black people socialize like that anywhere else in America. I never seen it. Now I've heard people in LA, the black people in LA are like that. But I haven't really been around LA like that. But in South Carolina, where I'm from, I grew up around all black people. Everybody look out for each other. Everybody know each other directly or indirectly. People's families and everything. And when I started going to these other countries, I like, yo, it's crazy out here. It's wild out here, yo. Damn. I got caught off guard. And then motherfuckers, I was getting taken advantage of because I'm the young American boy in Japan. They taking it. Let me tell you the mistake that I made. I was hanging around them damn girls around the base. Them base girls, anybody in the military know what I'm talking about. Them base girls is the girls outside the base that they've been hanging around the military dudes for probably 10, 20 years. So most of them girls get ran through. And come to find out, they were running through me. They were running through me, man. Now you got to think about this for a second. I'm 21 years old at the time. I ain't never really been around. The military is everything's fast. Everything is fast. I ain't never lived the fast life. Again, I didn't grow up in a big city. I grew up in a small town. So I got to catch up. I got to catch up to these sons of bitches, right? Because I ain't gonna let you keep taking advantage of me now. So at some point, probably about within that first year, I caught on. I was like, oh, okay, these just a bunch of you know, most of these girls are hoes, and the rest is the next group they're unfit, and only a small percentage are fit for marriage or family or whatever. But and let me tell you another thing about when you go to these other countries, there's no in most cases there's no middle ground as far as women go. Either she's fit for marriage or full blown hoe. Ain't really a lot of middle ground. Ain't a lot of that. Either she's a full blown hoe or wifey. That's usually how it goes. And another thing that you probably don't know that I didn't know is hoeing ain't looked down upon in a lot of these countries. So, in other words, if your girlfriend or your wife is a prostitute or escort, they ain't gonna really say nothing about that. You might never know. That's what I'm saying. You coming on the outside, meeting this girl, this woman. If she was a escort, you might never know. You might never know. Ain't nobody gonna tell you, and her family. Ain't none of her friends gonna tell you. Her past or whatever. The only way you would know if you had to learn on your own. You had to pick up on it in some way, shape, or form. Now I can pick up on it because I have enough life experience. But if you're 21, hell no, man, you ain't gonna know. Unless you grew up in an extreme household where your mom was a hoe or some shit like that, but if you grew up in a traditional household like me, man, you ain't gonna know what to look for if a woman's a hoe. If you 19, 20, hell no. That's just reality. And ain't nobody gonna tell you. They taking advantage of you. You the youngster coming from America. And this broad is what? 28, 30, or probably older than that. So she's betting that you don't know. He's preying on you. But you don't know. You know what I'm saying? That shit happens all the time to people when they go to these other countries. Whether they go to visit or they go to stay there for a while. Or maybe they might be military. That shit happens. But in most cases, you're just a fetish. In most cases. And you can kind of tell if you a fetish. Because she'll smash you one time or maybe a couple times, and at some point she'll cut you off. And that's going to be it. There won't be no more contact. No phone call, no text, no nothing. And a lot of times, check this out. I don't know about you, but I've met women over the years at least one or two of them that have said, "Hey, we hang out. I have a good time when I'm around you. Blah blah blah. We have fun. We enjoy each other's company, whatever." But the broad might have said, "Hey, it ain't gonna get no better than this." So I look at her. I said, "What that mean?" Right? Because I ain't never had nobody say nothing like that to me before. I said, "What that mean?" She's like, "I can't take you home." I said, "Oh, your dad won't like it, or your mom, or whatever." She said, "Yeah, it's my dad." I said, "Oh, okay." You know, yeah. So the second time I had a female say that, I already knew what time it was. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, if you meet somebody and y'all just hanging out having fun, sometimes it is what it is. You know, it probably won't get any better than that. That's why I always say how you start is probably the most important thing. It's very difficult to start a relationship one way and try to shift. That don't work. That don't work. There's a lot of things that people are doing, it don't work. Even if you want it to work, it just don't work. And that's one thing that don't work. Having a relationship with a woman. And okay, if you're a woman and you're trying to have a long-term relationship with a woman, those relationships usually crash and burn. There's always exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, them relationships fail. I mean, horribly fail. I mean, 5-star failing. A lot of them don't get with no damn stud if you a woman. Them stud beat the hell out of them damn women. I mean, if you a woman and you get with a stud, you must like getting beat up. Something. It don't work. And if you a stud trying to be a man, I guess you're trying to be a man without a dick. That don't work. That don't work. Yeah, that don't make no sense. You putting the strap on, I'm like, what? What? That don't make no sense. That's like an oxymoron. I mean, come on, man. A lot of people are trying to do things. They're trying to go against nature. It don't work. It don't work. It might last for a while, but it ain't gonna last long term. It always crash and burn. They say nature always correct itself. And that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense. You know, it's like that shit just don't work. It don't work, man. You know, I don't know about you. I'm the type of guy I like to do what works. Because once you do what works, there's a good chance that that relationship has a higher rate of lasting, higher chances of lasting for a long time. You know what I'm saying? But if you try to go against the grain and start doing some weirdo shit, it ain't gonna work. You know, it ain't shit. It just don't work. Shit don't work like that, man. In real life, there's real life and there's fantasy. The fantasies, that shit, it's a lot of that shit just don't work. You know, I'm a practical thinking guy. I do what works for me. You know what I'm saying? I don't do what my what I feel all the time. What I feel and what I think That's two different things. What I feel and what I think is two different things. And I try not to mix them both up because it don't work. You know what I'm saying? The shit don't work. And this is why a lot of people have so much problems. They be trying to wing it. Let's give it a shot and see what happens. Well, giving it a shot don't work. It don't work. You know what I'm saying? It don't. Let's give it a shot. Give it a shot. No, that shit don't work, man. You know? That's why so many people's relationship crash and burn. You know? They're not doing they're not like on purpose. They just having a good time, kind of winging it, kind of just having, I'm just having fun. You hear that a lot, right? I'm just having fun. Or I'm doing me. Well, who the hell told you you're supposed to be happy and have fun all the time anyway? That's another thing. Who said you're supposed to be happy all the time and having fun all the time? You know, that's when you know somebody's they start talking like, oh, I'm having fun. Or I ain't happy. Well, who said you're supposed to be happy all the time? What fool have sold you on that? I mean, come on. That's not reality. The reality is, I got up today and I didn't feel good when I woke up today. You know why? Because I went to the dentist yesterday and got my teeth cleaned. And I got a crown put in my mouth. You know, and that shit didn't feel good. You know, so that's how I woke up this morning after going to the dentist yesterday. I wasn't happy about going to the dentist. You know, come on. Some people, if they ain't having fun, they don't want to be around. Real life don't work that way. You know, sometimes you're not gonna have fun all the time and be happy. It don't matter who the hell is around. Let me tell you the problem with a lot of people. A lot of people, they don't like themselves. That's what the problem is. They really don't like them. They don't like who they are. They don't like anything about themselves. That's where this problem usually stem from. They don't like. A lot of people have number one. They have identity problems. They have identity problems. You know, they don't like what they see when they look in the mirror. You know, it's like they don't know who they are. And once they find out who they are, they don't want to be the person they see in the mirror. They want to be somebody else. So if you have identity problems, you can't be happy with nobody like that. That shit don't work. That don't work. If you ain't happy with yourself, you can forget about it. You're not gonna be able to hold no relationship long term. That shit don't work. And this is what I've learned going overseas. Overseas, like when it comes to a lot of these other groups of women overseas, worldwide, they have identity problems, big time. You know, they don't know if they want to be white. Some of them act like they're part of the British Empire, but they're not. You know, some of them act like they Spanish, but they're not. This is what I'm talking about. You got somebody that's from, this is a good example, from like the Dominican Republic. This broad thinks she's Spanish. Bitch, you ain't Spanish. What are you talking about? You speak Spanish. Yeah, but you ain't Spanish. You took the damn slave master's language. They just passed it down to you, but you ain't Spanish. If you go to Spain right now, they ain't taking you serious. This is what I'm talking about. People who don't have identity problems. So you can't hold a relationship long term with somebody like that. They're gonna self-sabotage. So you just wasting your goddamn time being around somebody like her. I mean, the best a relationship like that is gonna be is sex. That's it. Anything else, you can forget about it. You just wasting your goddamn time. I'm telling you, it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. I'm telling you, you can try being with a woman and she have identity problems. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna last long term. Nope. It ain't gonna last. And you give it a try and you prove me wrong. Give it a try, prove me wrong. I guarantee you it ain't gonna last. That broad don't know who she is. She don't know who she is. She don't know who she is. Don't know what she want to be. Don't know what she capable of. I'm telling you. You know, and that's usually how it goes. People. So that's when I was like, when I started learning about these other groups of women, overseas. That's when I was like, well, goddamn, black women ain't so bad after all. God damn. I mean, I never thought black women were bad. I mean, some of them are bad. But these other women are worse. For the most part, most black women, I'm not talking about foreigners, black American women, for the most part, we're comfortable with being black. We really ain't trying to be nobody else like that. You know what I'm saying? Nah, not really, man. Some of us had issues, but for the most part, I'm comfortable with being black. I don't want to be nobody else. I wish I could test this out. I wish I was a reporter. I could walk around with a microphone and a mic downtown where I live at during lunchtime and ask this one question. If this would be my question with a microphone, I'm playing like that's my microphone. If you could be another nationality, what would it be? If I was to walk up to white people, Asian people, black people, I'm going to guess that among the non-black people, over 50% of them would probably say they would want to be somebody else. If I had to guess, right? If I walk up to all the black people that's born and raised here, 90% would be like, no, I'm cool with being black. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I found, that a lot of these people have identity issues, man. A lot of the women, the guys too. But let me tell you how I learned this though. I didn't learn this by accident. Because I used to hang with a lot of Mexicans when I was in the Navy, right? And this is how I learned it. This is like the first experience I had. And it kept going from here. There was a Mexican dude I used to hang with. And I've been knowing him, this dude, Carlos. I've been knowing him for a while. I still know Carlos. I still know him. He live in Japan. We still cool. But on this one particular time, he was like, he was hanging around some different people, white people, on this particular day. And I said something. I think the white people didn't know that Carlos was Mexican at the time. That's what it was, yeah. The white people didn't know Carlos was Mexican. And he didn't want them to know that he was Mexican. But I came in and I said something about going to Mexico, this and that, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And later on, I think the next day, he came up to me and said, yo, man, you kind of put me out there yesterday. I'm like, what are you talking about? He was like, yo, you said this and that about going to Mexico. So I said, what's wrong with that? He said, they don't know I'm from Mexico. So I kind of look at him like, what the fuck are you talking about? You hiding where you from? What the hell? I don't know. So I kind of was like, all right, man, I'm sorry. And I just kept moving, you know, because I didn't have time to add some other shit on my mind. And I had quite a few experiences like that with people. They're very they're ashamed of where they're from. They're ashamed of their heritage or their family. If they're ashamed of their family, yeah, smash that like button. Smash the like button. Yeah, some people are like that. That's the weirdest fucking thing, man. You know what I'm saying? That shit is weird. You know. Now, when it comes to me personally, I'm very proud of my family. My family tree, I'm very proud of it. I have no shame, none whatsoever. But these other groups of people, no, they're not proud of their family tree and their and where they're from. You know. And I learned this just kind of like stumbling and mumbling, meeting people. You know, because I'm 21 years old at the time. I'm green out in these. I'm green out in these countries. I don't know shit. I don't know what the fuck going on. I didn't have nobody really to tell me, how to maneuver in these countries. I kind of learned as I went. And that ain't always the best route. Learn as you go, either. Trial and error, that shit can be difficult. Smash the like button. Yeah, that trial and error shit can be a little difficult sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I wish I had somebody to tell me the do's and don'ts. But I didn't have nobody like that at the time. And if you act like at the time I was in Japan, right? Now, if you ask the average Japanese person about anything, they'll lie to you. You know, so it's that dynamic. You know, they put on a good face, and I'm like, yo, the question I'm asking ain't got nothing to do with them. You know, like what the fuck, man? I'm a new person. I'm trying to figure this shit out. I got 3 years left. You know what I'm saying? I got 3 years left, man. I'm just trying to figure this shit out, trying to make the best of a bad situation, basically. You know? But I was homesick for a while. For like a year. Man, maybe like a year I was homesick. Yeah. Let me tell you the reason why I was homesick. Because, I got to figure all this shit out. Don't really have nobody to lean on. Show me the way at the time. And I don't have no friends. I'm 3,000 miles away from home. It was just, it's a difficult situation. And that's a very hard place to live for somebody that come from where I'm from. You know, it really is. You know, yeah, and it's expensive as hell. Very expensive. Damn, it's like living in New York. or LA. It's expensive like that, you know, and everything's small. I mean, you basically get what you pay for. Everything's small. Everything. You know, even, if you want a big house, you got to pay. Everything that's bigger in Japan, you got to pay extra. Anything. A big shoes, size 12 shoes, you got to pay extra. A big house, you got to pay extra. A bigger car, you got to pay extra. Everything that's bigger, you got to pay. They can get it, but you got to pay. They can build it, but you got to pay. So you really get what you pay for in Japan. You know, it's really a place for rich people. It's not really a place for working class. Even though, you know, they have working class people, but man, they're struggling over there, man. They just working to pay for rent, basically. Or they got a bunch of roommates, you know. So when it was time for me to go, I just made the best of a bad situation, and I was out. That was it, you know. And I learned that a lot of these people don't love their country like they say they do either. That's another thing. You know how people say, "Oh, I love my country." Man, that's a horse shit. That's horse shit. They haven't done it. Ask them what they've done for their country. Not a damn thing. If you love something or love somebody so much, you would do things, right? Let's say you love your parents or your sisters and brothers or your friends, you do things for them. These people don't do a goddamn thing for their country that they claim they love. Oh, that's bullshit, horse shit. I'm like, hey, if you love your country so much, how come you didn't go in the military? Right? They're like, oh, no, I don't want to do that. You don't love your country. You full of shit. So most of the stuff that people talk about, their culture is full of shit. They got a culture, all right, a culture of criminals. That's what their culture is. That's what their culture is, a culture of criminals. Most of the stuff people say about being overseas is horse shit. It is. These dudes online are full of it. Most of these dudes. They be, you know, kissing ass and putting these women on a pedestal and bragging about being in these other countries. Man, every country I've been to is some bullshit going on. You just have to pick your bullshit that you can tolerate, I guess, if you're going to decide to live in any of these other countries or visit any of these other countries. It's some bullshit going on. It's pros and cons all every country I've been to. I ain't found no perfect country yet. I'm still looking. And P.S. and by the way, when you find the perfect country, email me and tell me all about it. I'm still looking for the perfect country. I ain't found it yet. Shit. I ain't found it. I hope you find it and let me know where it's at. Because, you know, it's easy to do videos online talking about Colombia, Brazil, and Mexico. Man, please. And you know, a lot of these guys don't tell you what's really going on there. You know, they don't tell you about all that cocaine they be sniffing over there in a lot of these other countries. They act like shit don't exist. You know, now think about. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna end this video. Now think about all these guys that went to South America, from Mexico all the way down, all them islands, Guatemala, Mexico, Colombia, Peru, whatever. Nobody ever said anything about the drugs. Now, why do you think that is? You don't got to be a genius to figure this shit out. I mean, not one guy or gal said anything about the drugs. They talk about weed all day long. They talk about that all day long. They talk about pills all day long. But they don't talk about the drugs that's so obvious to all of us. Not one person with a channel that I've seen talk about all the cocaine and that's down in South America. And you know why they don't talk about it? Because they're using it. They're a part of it. That's why. That's why I don't want to talk about it. I mean, this is so obvious. Maybe it's obvious to me. I don't know. But at the end of the day, ain't no perfect place. Ain't no perfect country. Ain't no perfect woman. Ain't none. I've been still looking for the perfect place. I ain't found it yet. I ain't found no place, no country where I'm like, damn, I might get me a damn. Can I get dual citizenship? Or can I just become a citizen in that country? And the hell with North America. I haven't found that yet. Where is it? I'm still looking for it. When you find it, let me know. You send me an email, like, share this. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.